Today we was going to talk about leadership and also going into 2022. So briefly, conversation that I was having with myself about leadership. Last night I watched the Laker game, and if anybody follows sports, know about the Lakers. LeBron has what everybody thought would be a very, very good team based on the names that they had. Uh, Initially, these great names that get paid a lot of money, but they haven't quite gelled yet, meaning they haven't got on the same level. Uh, Rather, it's physically or mentally to win. And because they're not on that level, teams that aren't on their level, it's beating them. So I wouldn't say that they don't have the talent. They got enough talent. This is something different, and a lot of people couldn't or have not pinpointed it yet. So if I'm thinking how I'm thinking, LeBron James is amazing. Let me say that first before people get crazy, because sometimes you can bark down one of their heroes or their gods or whatnot, and people get all crazy and not really hear what's being said. So let me start off first by saying LeBron James is dope. An excellent black man, great businessman from what I can see outside, great family man from what I can see outside, and from those that I know that know him. He's a terrific basketball player. Not my favorite, but is definitely, very good. One of the legends of the game soon. So getting those accolades out of the way, LeBron James again is dope. But what I'm seeing is leadership issue. And as dope as LeBron James is, I don't feel, this is me, my opinion, is that he's being the best leader that he can be. Why do I make an assessment as such? He's not very vocal with the team during play. I don't know what they do in practice. I don't know what they do in the huddles. Outside of what we can see on TV, I don't know what goes on in the locker room. But outside, when he's on the court or there's a foul call or they're going into timeout, there's not a lot of discussion with his guys about what should or shouldn't have been done, what they can do better, or even just a pick me up. Hey man, come on man, we need that. Or man, don't worry about it, don't hang your head. That was a good shot, keep shooting. Those kind of things. That's what I see is him either go to the side upset, him display his frustration outwardly on the court, as in like pouting, dropping his shoulders, smirking, smacking, those kind of displays of behavior. And even so much that when he loses, instead of helping his team off the court, he runs off the court before the team gets off. So my assessment in that is it's poor leadership. Now, no, LeBron's not the coach. He's not the GM. He's not the owner, but he has a part to play in leadership, as all businesses do. It's not just the owner of the business. It's not just the board of directors. Leadership trickles all the way down the ladder from supervisor to lead to even that best team member. Everybody plays their part to help win the game. And if leadership is crumbling at any point of that game, or any point in that, what do we call it, ladder of command, I think that's what we call it, then you can see your team fall apart, even when it has the necessary skill and resources to get the job done. And to me, that's what we're seeing here with the Lakers. And I'm using that as an analogy. This is not a sports show. It's a business show. But these things are businesses, even though they are sports, and they do encompass per se employees to upper management. So with that being said, I was asking myself, a lot of people say like, well, that's not my leadership style. That's not my leadership style. It's my leadership style, or that's not my. And I was thinking, can one have a leadership style if he's a leader? And when I say that, I mean, you're the leader. It's your job to lead the team. So if the employees, you're going to say, are not responding to your leadership style, then it's only two options at that point, which is one, change your style, or two, you change the leader. And these are necessary conversations to have within business. Me personally, I don't think you necessarily need to change the leader. But if the leader refuses to change its style, then yes, the leader must change. Not for the same style as well also. You can't be so rigid as a leader that you're not willing to get down or stoop down to the level that you think is low in order to motivate your team. Because just like leaders, or as we're presuming that there's different leadership styles, there's also different people who respond to different styles as well. So to be a great leader, I would expect that you should be able to be fluid, or fluent with your leadership style, meaning being able to change, address, adapt when need be. And as those situations arises, got to be able to change your style. You got to be able to motivate your team. You got to be able to know when there's a, hey man, let's go, and hey man, it's okay. And then there's points where you need to be disciplinarian. All of these are to me one leadership. I'm not really abreast about leadership styles, but I think as a leader, you got to know when and where and how to address the issues that you need in order to get your team over the hump. With this being said, it brought me back to the thought of the art of war, in which in the beginning of the art of war, there's the military, let's say, commander. I'm not exact because I'm going off of my top of my mind. I haven't read the book in quite a few years, but this part stuck with me. So the military commander comes in and appoints a person from the military group in which they're about to train to go to battle. So he tells the group leader, the guy that he appointed, hey man, this is what I need. I'm gonna be gone. When I come back, I expect you to have everybody in shape, pretty much, understanding the commands, understanding the goals, and ready to go to battle. When I get back, I'll check. So the leader leaves, the commander comes back. He asks the leader, did you get everybody trained? The leader says yes. So the commander says, okay. He gives them a set of commands to give to the military soldiers and what to do. So the leader, remember, there's the commander and the leader, not to confuse it. The leader tells the military soldiers, about face and that whole spiel. I'm not military, so I don't know the exact wording, but pretty much turn left, turn right, turn forward, turn backwards. And in that, a few soldiers turn left when they're supposed to turn right. So immediately the commander looks at the leader and says, well, I thought you had them trained. And he's like, yeah, I had them trained. Well, how come they made a mistake? And the leader thinks that the soldiers are about to get disciplined, but the commander doesn't discipline the soldiers that made the mistakes. He disciplined the leader that he appointed, and it went something like off with his head. So he ended up killing the leader, and then pulling a new leader out of that same military soldiers and say, okay, now it's your job. When I get back, I want everybody ready, on point, and I'm going to check. So I say that to say that it's a lot that goes on with leadership, but everything falls on the shoulders of the leader. And there's no passing the buck per se. So the commander, knowing that it was his job to appoint a leader to get his military ready, realized that the leader that he appointed didn't handle the job. So he took his head off. It was for the leader that was appointed by the commander to make sure that his guys was ready. And if they didn't perform, he shouldn't have kept them within the scope. He should have took their heads off, which would have saved him his head. So leadership is definitely funny and funky at the same time, but can't pass the buck. That was something I really wanted to share. Something that I was grappling with yesterday after I watched the game, and I was just kind of looking, going, damn. He actually left the floor without making sure that his guys got off the floor. Didn't even say, bye to the other team, whatnot. And thought of all those years of sportsmanship and what that was doing through, coming up as a kid and playing organized sports, shaking hands after being as the leader, first on the court, first to the layup drills, first in the practice drills, and also the last one to run if things aren't going the right way. So I seen that either there was a lapse there or a neglect. And either way, the team is not responding. And in my opinion, that's the reason why, the leadership. So that's my spiel on that. To move into the next thing that I was thinking was, as we head into 2022, the new variant is out, which is also wreaking havoc, just like in 2020, which is posing a threat to most businesses, employees, leadership, the product supply chain, as well as the consumers of those businesses. So it got me into a point to realize that 2022 is still going to be up in the air. It's not business as usual, which means some things in the business realm or within your business will have to change in order to remain in business. I mean, basically. And one of those things that I see is marketing efforts must go way up. And it got to stand out a little bit. I'm not sure exactly how, so I couldn't give you the how and exactly what to do to make your business stand out within this industry. But I am well aware that a lot of people are home. So the best way, or the most way that people are being reached, is through the internet, via social media and different digital ads. And that space is getting very, very crowded. And the thing about very saturated or very crowded spaces is people start tending to either avoid them or ignore them. So with all the ads on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, people are scrolling past it now. They're not really taking the time to hear or see the ads. Also, what's happening is uh, people are scrolling past your posts. They're not really reading the captions as much. They're not looking to buy. They're just looking. Um, Seemingly, they're not even using the post to learn. It's just now about numbers, like how many likes or how many. Certain people are trying to garner likes, and certain users are trying to withhold likes. But there's not much interaction or consumption of these posts because there's so many. People have thousands and thousands of followers and follow thousands and thousands of people as they look to amass the followers. Because for the social status of having a lot of followers, there's also the doom that you're doing in regards to not being able to see some of the things in which you wanted to see. The algorithm just doesn't allow for you to see all 10,000 other people that post that day. So it curates a specific few people who may or may not be giving you the information that you really are seeking. And on the flip side, for the business, may or may not be putting your ads in front of the people that need to see it. So this is going to be an interesting time. 2022 is well, we've been in a transition phase, in my opinion, and new systems. The old system, the old guard is going away, and there's a new guard coming in. And not to get too crazy off the top, but we had the Y2K era in 2000. I was able to live through where we thought pretty much that the time and the calendars was going to fail, and then we would be into some new phase in which we were. We, it wasn't like we thought it would be as if the world would end. But we did go into a new phase, which was more heavily dominated by internet technology that connects people, Zooms, WebExes, and those kind of conversations, FaceTime on phones. And so we are in a new phase. And now 20 years later, we're into that next new phase. I always say that we should be looking to our cities, whichever city you live in, and look at their 20-year plan, which is a good way to familiarize yourself with at least what the city, which is going to reflect the local and state's plans on what they expect or what they're pushing for in the next 20 years. I live in LA, specifically from Inglewood, and about 20 years ago, they were retrofitting windows and different things around Inglewood because they knew two things was happening. One, an expansion of the airport, and then two, a new stadium around Hollywood Park. And a savvy person would have, took sight of that and the 20-year plan and, aligned their plans accordingly to still be competitive in the business market, or even to pivot their business along with the changes that was coming down the pipeline. So seemingly every 20 years, there's going to be a new phase of business. And we're in one now where a lot of businesses now online. And also, just because I'm seeing it more often, is a lot of businesses, including myself, don't have a phone number in order to reach for customer service issues. And that's on purpose. It's a little bit more cost effective to focus on the business than to answer the phone uh, constantly, that to answer uh, mundane uh, issues per se, where you can just post it on the internet in a frequently asked question form, and people can get their questions answered, and pretty much you have a ready-made template to answer that question however many times it arises. So business is changing, clients is changing, the customers, what they want is changing. Uh, we need to know both. We need to know what's changing in business, what's changing in marketing, and what's changing with the clients. So as I stated, I think that marketing now has to go up. You not only need to figure out ways to reach your target, uh, but you also got to figure out a way to not to be heard by that reach target, because there's a lot of other people in that same space that's clamoring for their their hearing, and it makes it it makes the client a lot less likely to listen to you, even though you may have what they want and you're saying it the way that they want it. They're tired of the noise, so they just turn everything off. Uh, we've seen it with email. As many people don't check their email, they just kind of, look at a headline, maybe delete. They're not into it, delete. A lot of people unsubscribe after they subscribe. Same in social media. Uh, get a few people for a specific reason, a post, a giveaway, or whatnot, and then they unsubscribe. They're really not trying to hear, because they really only want what they want when they want it. So with the marketing, is you training, and this is my assessment or my uh, interpretation of what marketing is. It's you're training your client or your customers on how to uh, interact with your business. You're telling them what it is that you service, what service you offer, I'm sorry, who you offer that service to, how you offer that service, and at what price you're willing to offer that service. And instead of letting the clients and the customers pretty much dictate how that goes, uh, once you take on the reins of determining the who, what, why, and how you're going to do it, your business, the job switches into finding those people that agree or that's willing to allow you to dictate to them the services that they will receive. So that's a little bit different than how most businesses were taught, which was the client is always right, the customer is always correct, and you bend your service or your business towards the clients and their needs, or as some would say, you bend towards the market. But as the market became crowded, now you have to go out and fish. And the fish need to know and want your bait. So these are the changes coming down the pipeline. As I say, we're going into 2022. There's a lot of things that possibly that was business as usual. That's no longer business as usual. What I can think of also is employees. Businesses that need employees are now have to go out and put that bait on the line as well, and find people who agree with your business, your service, your wages, your mission, your vision, and want to provide the service to others in ways that make them feel good. No longer is there it's seeming as if it's the time of, hey, I need to work to pay bills, seems to be out the door at this moment. As we notice that many of people are dropped out the workforce, many workers aren't even consistent in showing up, and uh, searching for other ways to not substitute but supplement their income, and that's also weighing down on the businesses and the services that they provide. So again, marketing uh, is now a two-pronged thing. It always had been, but it's more so important now, which is marketing for clients and marketing for employees. So 2022 is definitely a new thing, and my company itself, we're going to be really digging into ways in which to reach out to our clientele base often. As I say, a lot of spaces have a lot of noise. TV is now more digital streaming, and you don't have to watch the commercials. You can record. I know people that record shows or record sporting events and wait an hour or so before they watch it, just so that they can fast forward through the commercials. So as we see back to the NBA, they went ahead and put sponsorships on jerseys. They was losing the eyes on the commercials as people would fast forward through them. So they need a new way. So they put the sponsorships on the jerseys and more on the floor. So business is changing, and you have to change and adapt with it, or you can expect to be out of business in the next 2 or 3 years. So with that said, go ahead and close out the show. I appreciate you guys. This is Hustler2Entrepreneur. I'm Kevin Dawson Jr., the owner of Shine Car Wash. Hope my guys some sun. We also got some merch, some Hustler2Entrepreneur merch, mostly just hoodies at the moment. Check out our site, links in the bio. Look at the different designs and colors that we have for these hoodies. It's also a new part of business is to get people who support you to support you. Some of those ways might be PayPal, Patreon, those kind of donations. Some is merch. If you like this, if you mess with our brand, if you mess with me, if you support me, if you want to see me win, if you just want to help out a little bit, but may not be able to utilize my business or my service that I offer, buy some merch. This is the Nipsey Hustle way to pay to play. I can give it to you for free, but if you really, deal with me, give me something. We help each other in that sense. So business is changing. And as I stated again before I close one more time, change with it, adapt, utilize, study, get smart, and then get ahead of it so that you may remain in business. All right, have a good day.